Hand over your startup, my brother demanded at family dinner. Mom nodded. I walked out. Days later, they begged me to save their failing business. I smiled and said, "Let Emma run it. She's the star." I'm Lauren Carter, 32, and this is how my family tried to steal everything I'd built. It's messy, raw, and I'm not going to pretend I handled it perfectly. I'm just a woman who poured her heart into a tech startup, thinking my family would at least respect it. Instead, they saw it as their ticket out of their own mess. It started in Seattle, at my parents' house in Queen Anne during a family dinner last month. The place hasn't changed since I was a kid. Dark wood table, candles flickering, the faint smell of roasted chicken and my mom's lavender diffuser. But that night, it felt like a setup, and I was never the main character in their story. That was always Ethan, my brother, 36. Growing up, Ethan got the shiny bikes, the math tutor when he failed algebra, the car when he crashed his first one. Me? I got lectures about pulling my weight. I worked weekends at a coffee shop in Fremont to pay for college at the University of Washington. I never asked for help, and I thought that made them proud. I thought wrong. 6 years ago, I started my AI company in a tiny Belltown office with peeling paint and a coffee maker that never worked right. 80-hour weeks, ramen dinners, panic attacks over code that wouldn't run. It was brutal, but it paid off. My startup hit a $5 million valuation. Investors called. Tech blogs called me a rising star. I'd walk into my office, see my team coding on glowing screens, and feel like I'd finally made it. My parents, Patricia and Michael, they barely asked about it. Ethan, though, he was their golden boy. His coffee shop went bust in a year. His app never launched. His podcast? I think it got 10 downloads. Still, Mom and Dad funneled money into every one of his flops. Their retail chain, Carter Home Goods, was a relic. Stores across Washington selling overpriced candles and throw pillows. It was tanking. Had been for years. I'd tried to help, sitting at their dining table with my laptop, pitching digital ads, inventory apps, anything to drag them into this century. "We've got it covered," Dad would say, waving me off. "Ethan's working on something big." Ethan's big ideas were pipe dreams, but they ate it up. I should have seen the dinner invite coming. Mom's text was too cheery. "Family time, honey." My stomach twisted, but I went, lugging a $200 bottle of Pinot Noir, hoping for a truce. The dining room was staged. Candles, Mom's best china, Ethan at the head like he owned the place. Mom fussed over him, fluffing his napkin. Dad poured wine, his hands shaky from years of stress. Small talk dragged, weather, the Seahawks, nothing real. Then Ethan leaned forward, his eyes sharp. "Lauren, your startup's killing it. Time to spread the love." I froze, my fork halfway to my mouth. Spread the love. "I'm taking over your company," he said like it was obvious. "I've got plans, real plans." My fork clinked against the plate. Was he serious? Mom nodded, her smile forced. "It's what's best, Lauren. Ethan needs this. You're young, you can start over." Dad jumped in. "Your tech thing's cute, but Ethan can take it global." Global? He bankrupted a coffee shop. My chest tightened. They weren't asking, they were telling me. My startup, my years of grinding, my dream. "No," I said, my voice steadier than I felt. "I built it, it's mine, I'm not giving it up." The room went quiet. Ethan's smirk faded. Mom's face twisted. "You're so selfish," she snapped. "Ethan's the future of this family." Dad shook his head, muttering about loyalty. I felt their eyes boring into me, but it wasn't shame I felt, it was rage. Ethan leaned back, all smug. "Come on, sis, you don't need it." "Let me make it pop." Pop? Like his podcast? I pushed my chair back, the legs scraping the hardwood. "I don't owe you my company," I said, my voice cold. "Not you, not anyone." Mom gasped, clutching her pearls, literally. Dad looked at me like I'd betrayed him. I grabbed my coat and walked out, the Seattle rain hitting my face like a wake-up call. In my car, an old Subaru with a sticky gear shift, I gripped the wheel until my knuckles hurt. My startup was my proof I wasn't invisible. They wanted to hand it to Ethan, their star, who'd never earned a thing. I called Sophie Reed, my best friend since we bonded over bad dorm coffee at UW. She answered, her voice all fire. "Lauren, what's wrong?" I told her everything. Ethan's demand, Mom's betrayal, Dad's excuses. "They're scavengers," Sophie said. "Lock down your company. They'll keep coming." I nodded, rain streaking my windshield. She was right. This wasn't the end. That dinner was their opening shot, and I wasn't going to let them win. The next night, my phone kept buzzing. Ethan had posted on LinkedIn a cheesy headshot captioned, "Some people hoard success instead of helping family. I'm ready to lead." Comments rolled in. "Sad when siblings get jealous. You've got this, Ethan." Jealous? I'd built my startup from a laptop in a shared apartment. My AI tech, $5 million in value, was mine, not his. Aunt Lisa messaged, "Why not share with Ethan?" Cousin Mark called me entitled. Mom had spun the story. I was the greedy sister standing in the way of Ethan's destiny. Destiny? His last project was a t-shirt line that lost $10,000. I slammed my laptop shut, my Capitol Hill apartment feeling too small. The view of the Space Needle usually calmed me, but not tonight. By morning, Mom called. I let it go to voicemail. "Lauren, you humiliated us," she hissed. "Give Ethan the startup, or at least $100,000 to save our stores." Their stores? Carter Home Goods was a mess. Empty shelves, angry suppliers, all because they wouldn't adapt. I'd begged them to modernize. Now they wanted my money to prop it up? I didn't call back, but the hits kept coming. A client emailed nervous. "Heard there's family trouble. Is your startup okay?" My heart sank. Their lies were creeping into my business. I called Sophie, pacing my living room, past my thrift store couch and a pile of unopened mail. "They're trying to ruin me," I said. She didn't miss a beat. "Get a lawyer, Lauren. Protect your work." I nodded, clutching my coffee mug. "I'm not letting them take it." Sophie's voice was like steel. "You won't. Fight dirty if you have to." I found David Walsh online, a tech lawyer with a rep for winning ugly battles. We met at my office, a sleek space in Pioneer Square with exposed brick and humming monitors. I spilled it all. The dinner, Ethan's demand, Mom's $100,000 ask. David leaned back, his tie slightly crooked. "Your startup's in your name? No family equity?" I nodded. "I own 80%. Investors have the rest." He grinned. "They've got nothing, but we'll dig deeper, make sure they can't pull any stunts." He got to work that day. I called Anna Lee, my lead investor, a sharp woman who'd believed in me from my first shaky pitch. Over Zoom, her office lined with art, she said, "Lauren, your company's on fire. Let's scale up. New markets, more hires." Scale up? That was my shield. A bigger startup would be harder to touch. Then they pushed harder. Ethan and Dad showed up at my office. No heads up. Ethan in a knockoff suit, Dad looking like he hadn't slept. "Lauren, let's fix this," Ethan said, sliding a folder across my desk. A contract, demanding 51% of my startup. "Sign it," Dad said, his voice heavy. "For the family, our stores need it." I stared, my coffee going cold. "You're out of your mind. This is my company." Ethan smirked. "You're playing small, sis. I'll make it huge." Huge? Like his app that never launched? I shoved the folder back. "No, you don't get a piece." Dad's face hardened. "You're destroying our legacy." Legacy? Their failing stores? I stood, my voice like ice. "Get out." They left, Ethan muttering under his breath. That night, Mom emailed. Subject, family first. She claimed I'd abandoned their business by not sharing my startup. Said she'd tell everyone I'd turned my back on them. "Do what's right," she wrote, "or we'll go public." Public? They were threatening to smear me. My hands shook as I forwarded it to David. "They're desperate," he replied. "We'll be ready." My office, with its view of ferries crossing Puget Sound, felt claustrophobic. Their stores were crumbling, and they wanted my success to save Ethan. They're visionary. David called the next day, his voice tight. "Lauren, we've got something." My pulse spiked. "What?" He laid it out. Ethan had used my startup's name to borrow $200,000 from a sketchy investor 6 months ago. Dad co-signed, knowing it was fraud. "They used your AI tech as collateral," David said, "without your okay." I felt like I'd been punched, my company's name, tied to their scam. David had evidence, loan documents, emails, a text from Ethan, Lauren's startup's my way out. They hadn't just asked for my work. They'd already tried to steal it. I needed more. I called Aunt Nancy, Dad's sister, the one relative who hadn't picked a side. We met at a cafe in Ballard, rain pattering the windows. "Lauren," she said, stirring her tea, "their stores are finished. Suppliers won't deal with them. They're counting on your startup to bail them out." My jaw clenched. "Bail them out?" "Ethan's been pitching investors," she added, "using your company's name." I thanked her, my mind racing. They weren't just greedy. They were desperate, reckless, betting on my work to fix their mistakes. I sat in my apartment, the rain a steady drum outside. Sophie came over, hauling Thai takeout. "They're leeches," she said, digging into pad Thai. "You've got proof. Hit them hard." I nodded, but I was scared. What if I lost? David was building a case. Anna sent a plan to restructure my startup, making it untouchable. But I wanted more than defense. They demanded my company at that dinner in front of everyone. I wanted them to face the truth, publicly. I planned a startup anniversary party at my office, invited Mom, Dad, Ethan, Aunt Nancy, Uncle Paul, Anna, key clients. They'd think I was celebrating. They'd walk into a trap. The party was set. My office in Pioneer Square was decked out. String lights, champagne on ice, a rooftop deck with a view of Seattle's skyline. The invite was slick. 5 years of innovation. They fell for it. Ethan texted, "Smart move, sis, we'll talk shop." Mom called, all syrupy. "Lauren, I'm so proud." Proud? I bit back a laugh. They thought I was caving. This wasn't a party, it was their reckoning. Guests arrived as the sun set, the city glowing below. Ethan strutted in, his cologne cheap and overpowering. Mom wore her pearl necklace, her smile fake as ever. Dad looked drained, his suit wrinkled. Anna mingled, her confidence steadying me. Aunt Nancy gave me a quick nod like she knew. Dinner was flawless. Sushi platters, craft cocktails, laughter filling the air. Ethan bragged about new projects. Mom gushed about his genius. I stayed quiet, sipping rosé. Dessert came, matcha cheesecake with a gold leaf swirl. I stood, mic in hand. "Thanks for coming," I said, my voice clear. "Tonight's not just about my startup. It's about honesty." I hit a button. A screen flared to life. Ethan's smirk vanished. The first slide showed Ethan's $200,000 loan, taken in my startup's name. Forged documents, Dad's signature. Next, emails, Dad to Ethan. "Lauren won't catch it," Ethan's text. "Her AI's my ticket." Then his LinkedIn post painting me as selfish. Mom's email threatening to expose me. The room went dead quiet. Uncle Paul's glass clinked. Aunt Nancy gasped. I kept going. A contract Ethan sent to investors, pitching my tech without my consent. "This isn't vision," I said, my voice cutting. "It's theft. You didn't want my company. You wanted my money to save your failures." Ethan shot up, face flushed. "This is all fake," he yelled. Dad muttered, "Lauren, stop." But his voice faded. Mom's pearls trembled. "You're destroying us." Destroying them? I pressed on. "One last thing," I said. I showed a signed deal with Anna. My startup was expanding, locked in a new corporate structure. Anna stood, smiling. "Lauren's taking us global," she said. "Her work's unstoppable." Guests whispered, impressed. Ethan's eyes darted, panicked. Then I dropped it. "I'm suing Ethan for fraud," I said. "Using my company's name isn't just betrayal, it's illegal." David Walsh stepped forward, papers in hand. "We're seeking damages," he said, "and an injunction to protect Lauren's assets." Aunt Nancy spoke up. Ethan, you're a shame to this family. Uncle Paul nodded. This is too far. Ethan stormed out, cursing under his breath. Dad stared at the floor. Mom sobbed, clutching her napkin. How could you, Lauren? I looked at her, calm. How could you let Ethan use me? Guests gasped. A few clapped. I'd taken their stage. Days later, their stores imploded. Suppliers sued. Shelves sat empty. Dad called, his voice cracked. Lauren, we're losing it all. Help us, please. I smiled cold. Ask Ethan, he's your visionary. I hung up. 6 months later, my startup doubled in value. Global deals poured in. Tech magazines called me a game changer. Ethan's fraud case trashed his name. Investors ghosted him. Mom and Dad sold their house to cover debts. They texted, begging to talk. We were wrong, Mom wrote. I didn't answer. They chose Ethan at that dinner. I chose myself. I bought a new apartment in South Lake Union, all glass and clean lines, with a view of the Puget Sound. On my desk, I keep my startup's logo, 3D printed, a reminder of what I built. I posted it online. Family supports you, not steals from you. People responded, sharing their own betrayals. You gave me hope, one wrote. Sophie threw a rooftop party with cheap beer and loud music. We danced, toasted to real family. Seattle's skyline sparkled, alive with possibility. I don't hate them. They thought I'd crumble. I didn't. My startup's mine. My life's mine. That night when I said, let Ethan run it, their world fell apart. I rose, building a future they can't touch. I'm Lauren Carter, and I'm just getting started.